Hey guys, I'm Vone Kevitz, knit and crochet designer for one-of-a-kind makers who dare to be original, and I'm in a totally I'm on my phone. I'm a little late because I couldn't get my laptop to work for some reason. So I had to change things up, and here I am on my phone, but I feel like I'm so close to you. I think what I'm gonna do, just give me a second. Let me set this up. Gonna move my laptop back. I'm going to move my phone back a little bit. There we go. Now I'm not so in my face. Oh, wow. I hope somebody joins today. Hopefully you guys find me. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. I promised this time that I was going to pick knit and crochet because I haven't created in a very long time, since December. So if you're on, say hi. Let me know who's joining me. We could talk about what I'm working on. We could talk about what you're working on, how your week went, what's your week coming up, what kind of week is coming up for me. But if you looked at the title, I just listened to an awesome audiobook now my laptop works. See, of course. Now it works. But that's all right. We're already set up on the phone. I just finished listening to an awesome audiobook called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. And my model actually has his other book called Obstacles the Way. So I'm very excited to read that book once she lets me borrow it, because it was a really, really good book. It really caught it. It snuck up on me, but and I'm so grateful that I listened to it. And it was 5 hours. It was like the best 5 hours I probably ever invested in myself. So just wanna hang on. Actually, let me just open with a prayer. It's 2 minutes in. Dear Lord, thank you for another amazing hour. Hopefully, anybody that comes in and joins will take the time in this hour watching this video to quiet their minds and center their hearts and just listen to the inner voice that's coming from within. It's something that I've been working very hard to cultivate, and I pray that that the viewers that watch this video seek the same and have the same kind of inner peace, and give themselves the space, just like I'm acquiring that same space of just stillness, so that we can hear you and be with you, and listen to you, because the world is so loud. But we need we need to create that space that we can allow ourselves to sit still and hear our thoughts, and feel your presence around us. Amen. All right. Yeah, so in that prayer alone, so Ryan Holiday starts talking about how I have a cold, and I ran out of tissue, so I'm just stuck with toilet paper right now. But it's okay. It's the good soft kind. So Ryan Holiday talks about, I don't even know. There's so many things inside that book, but ultimately the theme is, if every single like philosopher, like including Jesus from way back when, they all have one thing in common, and that is that they meditate. They they seek quiet and silence so that they can reflect within their thoughts and within, and they give themselves time and that time and space to do so. Back then, without all the things, it was a lot easier. It was a lot easier to just go for walks because there that was your only form of transportation. It was a lot easier to like just sit without having the radio on or the TV on or noise in the background because wasn't technology back then. All they had was a candlelight and their thoughts, and they read a lot and they reflected a lot and they were very mindful. And every so when you think about it, all the religions between Christianity, Buddhist, Muslims, Hindu, every single religion that I think is on the planet, all like came from this one thought, and they all did this one thing, which is meditate and like pray and have like quiet time. And I used to think quiet time was such a waste of time. I, because I realized something while listening to this book. I realized something. I've actually been realizing it for a while, since like the end of last year with the books that I've been reading and picking out and being very intentional with the 20 books that I read and listened to last year. And that's why I was trying to create habits and, good things, because I knew that there are things that I want to do, and then there are things that I'm doing, and they're not jiving. And so I realized that it must be because I'm habitually doing these bad habits and I don't know how to correct it. So I read and listened to a lot of books about habits, on how to form good habits and not, right? And then this year, Stillness is the Key was the first book that I listened to. Well, no, The One Thing was the first book that I listened to this year. And it just went into this theme of like not multitasking and just focusing on one thing, and I and if you have an opportunity, I think it was there's a link right on YouTube. I listened to the audiobook for free on YouTube, so I know it's available there. And it was like the best book ever until I read Stillness is the Key, and I got that on Audible. It was my February book, and it is amazing, and it's under the same theme, and it's a in between Stillness is the Key. I had a free audio book on Audible called Burnout. It was one of the free ones that they had like months and months ago, and I never listened to it. It was just in my docket. But I listened to it because it just like was like, okay, I think this is the time to pay attention to this title. So after The One Thing, I listened to Burnout, and that was a great mini audiobook because it was a journalist from BuzzFeed or something, and she was talking about how we're a society of with social media and the millennials. They're like, we don't shut down our brain anymore because of this cell phone, and because of the constant connection that we have with the world and our friends and social media and all that stuff, and and even worse because a lot of people's jobs require their lives to be on social media, so then they feel like they never shut off, like influencers and such and whatnot, and including me, having an online shop, and trying to share with the world my personality and the things that I do, so people can get familiar with what I do and my brand and all that stuff. I definitely experience burnout. I definitely feel that. And I know all my friends do. I know all my internet friends do, all my online friends that I associate. We've all dealt with one case of burnout or another at any level all throughout the 5 years I've been online and engaging with everybody, and even in the Dare to Be Original Facebook group. So so between that and then the next book, and that's why I heard about Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a listen to this one because I have a feeling this is my next book, and it turned out to be like incredibly fascinating. Just there were so many stories to talk about. Mr. Rogers, his personality, how he was, how Jesus was. There was even a story about Tiger Woods that absolutely haunts me. It haunts me of how his father trained him growing up, and his training tactics, how it led to the adult that became who he was, and then you heard about his tragedies, and the things that he did behind the scenes was very different from what he did outside the scene, which was on the golf course. Like, he was a totally different person. He had control. He had like, he had full control. He was able to stop a moving, swinging body at 195 miles per hour, swinging, and he could stop it midway and start over because he had that much control when he was on the golf course. But on his inner world, there was a totally different it was a totally different landscape. That's why he cheated on his wife. He did all the things that he did. It was a disconnect, because his outside, the way he played his game, was he was in stillness, like he was like in the zone. But on his obviously and his insides, he couldn't quiet that, because the he lived two lives, two completely different lives, right? Because of and it was just fascinating how that came to be, and it started making me realize all the things, and if I had the laptop, I was gonna pull up the audiobook and then like go through the chapters real quick, and you know what I mean, just so I could remember what all the goodies that was talked about in that book. So many like interesting insights and concepts and everything. And obviously one of the big things is like, take a walk was one of the suggestions, and I think I'm going to definitely do that, which is something I've never done. It's just something I don't do. My husband loves to go walking. He always suggests, let's go for a walk in the park. We're very close to a park in our neighborhood, and he always like would love to walk that park, and I would be like, okay, I guess I'll deal with it, right? And and I do it just to spend time with him, but I never appreciate it. I think as soon as the weather gets warm, and not even as soon as, I think even this weekend, I might suggest just going for a short walk just to get out there and breathe some fresh air. I know people do it. I just was never one of them. But now, after listening to that book, I was like, I just realized how much it's needed. It's necessary for me that I need to do that. And not having anything to do with to like, not a physical thing, not like a health thing, not like like an exercise thing, but just a clearing of the mind thing, you know, because we take in so much information, and I know this for a fact. My brain is always on overload. As a creative, it's on overload 24/7. I didn't I It wasn't that I became this way. I was always this way. I was always my mind was always going 1,000 miles a minute in so many different directions, and I create to quiet it. I create to as an outlet of what is going on up here, right? And so I used to think, oh, it's because I'm a multitasker. And then and then I started realizing, it was like, oh, maybe it's ADD. Oh, like maybe I have ADD, because I definitely have startitis. I definitely can start a billion things, but I really struggle in the finishing department. I really struggle in the finishing department. I'm starting to work really hard on that, and that's what I spent last year on. A lot of the books that I did was so that I can do this work on finishing things, and working on one thing at a time, and finishing and getting the so I've been working really hard on that, and I realize why it's becoming. Actually see, after listening to this and trying to implement this and slowing myself down, and actually not try to run away or suppress all this creativity or all this thinking that I have, and just trying to figure out a way to harness how to slow my brain down. And the fact that over time with the phone, with the internet, like with everything, like it just enhances it because we don't know how to shut it down. It was like me with, so I've been doing this for 5 years. I've had this Etsy shop for 5 years, and I've done so many different things, and I've tried so many different things towards my business. I've led for the Handmade Creative Mastermind. I've led masterminds. I've taught and coached and helped so many people. Created that Facebook group, trying to, cultivate an environment for us creatives to have a safe space and to maintain that, to running this YouTube channel and showing up here every week, trying to get an email, like a regular email going. That slipped, but that's going to change very soon because I think that's how I'm going to end up really voicing, like speaking my voice without filtering my without filtering, you know, my, what is the word? I don't know how to say it. Like, I always worried about what people think. So I don't know how to say it, you know what I mean? We're always like worried about the outside world and their impressions of us. So being on social media, it's just easier to polish our pages up, and we only show the good things. We never share the bad things, you know. And I'm trying obviously more and more of that, to do that. I do that in my stories. I speak my voice a little bit clearer on my stories, you know, things like that. But and obviously when I'm here live on YouTube, I think that's why I like live YouTubes as opposed to making the curated ones. Even on my curated ones, when I was doing it, it was just me filming and talking to you and knitting and just me expressing my thoughts. And now with live, I just get a chance to engage with you guys. And so I appreciate that more. So if you guys are here, say hi to me. And then usually when we're on these lives, I just chat with you and I see, you know what I mean? And we talk about, so there's like an engagement factor, and that I love. I love the engagement factor, and I love that's why I like doing these lives every week as opposed to me coming up with content and sharing it with you guys and then waiting for your comments and feedbacks. It's just better for me to be on here and go, hey, I'm working on this. What are you guys working on? What are you guys doing? You know, how's your week? So it just makes like, and I'm more relaxed like this than me to sit there and like rehearse and go, oh, I have to film a video. You know, I was like, what better way to know my personality and my brand and the things that I do as opposed to, me curating a video. So it was, while I'm doing all this, like my brain is going nonstop. While I'm thinking of this, my brain's going nonstop. So even when I am on burnout, even when I was like in 2017, I got so sick. At the end of that mastermind, I had gotten so sick. My body like gave out. I had dry sores all over my body. I was still trying to work my day job, and I was doing this, like I was like burning from both ends of the candle. Is that how you say it? And my wick was gone. Like my well was empty. I was physically done. So mentally, I didn't create. I didn't do anything. I was like, I wanted to give up, and I just wanted to shut everything down and just walk away from everything. But I couldn't because it was the last thing I told my daddy I was gonna do. So I was like, this is my dream. This is what I want to do, you know. And now, by now, I'm already helping too many people. I'm helping too many people. It's like if I just hang it up and close it everything down, then it's not me that I'm worried about, you know. It's more or less, what about all the people that I've been helping, all the people that I could still help? My message is still strong that we have to, push past our fears and create a life that the Lord created us to live, to lead. And that that part of me won't go away. And therefore, here I am, still like trucking through, plowing through, figuring out, okay, well, I got to figure out how do I make this work? How do I do this? If I can't give up, if I can't quit, what do I do, And so my brain is always going nonstop about it. And even when I was like taking that 2018 break of not doing anything in the shop, not really posting on social media, I was still engaging with people on the behind the scenes. I was still doing things behind the scenes, but never like not really being public about it. Excuse me. And and then so with this book, it just made me realize that I just need to like take some time and slow things down and quiet my mind a bit and let it be okay to quiet my mind. So I'm actually going to work very hard on cultivating that space and that and making room for that quietness and that stillness and not having to, even with my bullet journal, when I first this is why I started bullet journaling to begin with, because I knew it was just one of the ways where I couldn't make my plans on the phone anymore. I just needed to find ways to get off technology. I wasn't that good on it anyways because I would just get so distracted. So it wasn't like really helping me. So that's why was like, okay, there's got to be a way where so I spent the entire, is it 2019 and even 2018 and 2019 coming up, like trying to find the right planners, trying to find a planner that I can engage with, that I would be like, I think it was 2019. Like, oh no, 2018 too, because it was like, I think in 2018 I had like 6 planners that I was trying to work off of, trying to figure out maybe this is the planner, maybe this is the planner. But every planner, I would just start it and I couldn't finish it. I wouldn't finish it, you know, until September of last year, which is 2019. So it was like 5 6 months ago. I reintroduced myself to the bullet journal, and in that, it gives me an aspect of a planner, that I can dump my brain and schedule my things onto. But it's more than that because it allows journaling, which I never do. I never journaled, but I'm finding that to be very helpful. Like it just writing out my thoughts or things like that. Because I always think like diaries and all that stuff. It was just very woo woo and not only that, but I'd be worried about what people are looking at, and I'm like, I'm like realizing, I'm like, my husband doesn't even look at these things. So it's like, what is that 40 20 40 60 rule that we think in like from 0 to 20 we think everybody's thinking about us, and then in 40 we don't care if people are thinking about us, but by 60 we realize nobody was thinking about us at all, like that rule. And I'm like, so I was holding myself back from writing down my thoughts because I was so afraid somebody else would see my thoughts. And I'm like, that cannot, like, and that ends up doing is hurting myself because I'm not processing my thoughts, right? So now that I'm doing it, it's like very cathartic. When I open my journal, when I open my bullet journal, it's a time that I shut that off, like technology off. And so I write down my gratitude. I write down my goals, my 10 goals that I want in the next 10 years, as if it's already happened. And then I write my task. And in the beginning, I would write all these tasks, everything that I had in my head, all these tasks. I would just dump it all out. I would dump it all out. And then I would move it over, or cross it off, or do them, right? And that worked for a long time. But then I just ended up having so much tasks, more tasks. And then now I'm not crossing off as many things or checking off as many things. I'm more or less just keeps moving things over, moving things over, moving things over. And then I would add more things on, and I would think of more things that I want to do, and I would think of more things I need to do, more things and I just became this task collecting hoarder, you know? And I didn't realize it. I didn't realize. And whether I was doing this physically on paper or not, it didn't matter because mentally I was doing this. Mentally, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. And no wonder why I can't quiet my brain. No wonder why I can't shut it down. No wonder why I feel guilt and I perpetuate this. And I'm only sharing this with you because I know I'm not the only one. I can freely share this and honestly be honest with you guys, because I know whoever's watching me, I know I'm not the only one that is going through this. I know I'm not. I know that everybody else is. Everybody else is. It's whatever their version of it is, but I know everybody's going through it. And that's the only reason why I can freely share it, because I know I'm not talking out of my you know what. So, so whether I was writing this down or not, this is happening in my brain. The good thing about me writing it down is I at least relieved my brain of it, right? But now I'm starting to see, I'm like, I'm just having lists and lists and lists of all these things. And now with the one thing, it's made me like focus on certain things. I'm like, you don't need all that. You just need to focus on few things, if not just one thing, right? So I'm not perfect in the one part department, but I am getting better on closing the gaps of not doing so many, and I'm saying no a lot easier. I I've been saying no a lot easier to say, you know what I mean? I have certain things that I want to focus on, and then nothing else can get in the way of that, because that's it. Nothing else can get in the way of that. I have one life, and and time is ticking away, and I can't wait till tomorrow to be this way. I have to be this way today. I can't make space for it another day, because another day doesn't exist, only today. So it's made me saying no to a lot of things a lot easier, which is one of the suggestions on that. But the other thing is just like sitting and appreciating stillness. I'm like, I'm definitely not going to be listening to a lot. I'm going to take a break from books and acquiring more knowledge. So I'm going to just sit in the space that I'm in right now with all that I've learned, all that I know. Coming up in March is B school, so I'm going to be retaking that. I've been in that for, this will be the third year that I've been in. I got it in 2017, and this will be the third year that I'm doing it, and I'm still never completed it. I still never completed it, which is probably why my business never took off as the way it should have, because I never completed that school. And this year I want to do it. I want to finish it. And mind you, I say this every February. You can go back to any of the videos of my Februaries and you will see me say this exact statement. B School's coming up. This is the year that I complete it. This is the year that I participate in it. This is the year that I do it. So nothing that I'm saying is new. The only thing that will be different is that come March, I'm actually executing it. And by May, I will be done. And then hopefully not hopefully, by August, you'll see a brand new, my business will look very differently. My numbers will look differently after executing what I should have been executing, what I learned. So I'm not taking on any new books. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just gonna focus on B School and work on helping Galilee grow, and Galilee Life, the shop, the platform that I've finished moving my stuff out of Etsy and going to Galilee Life and everything. So I put my knitting down because I've been blowing my nose like crazy, so I don't want to touch my work until I wash my hands. If you're wondering why I stopped making. But yeah, so that's it. I don't know if I can see any comments. I don't know if you guys are commenting and I'm still just babbling onto myself. I don't know if you guys are commenting or if you're not commenting, or if you're seeing or not seeing. I can't tell if you guys are live, if you guys are watching. I don't know what's happening. So if you guys are talking and commenting and I'm not responding, I apologize. I do not know what I'm doing, clearly. Clearly. All right. I have this one note and I don't know how to make it go away for some reason. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide our community guidelines. Okay. Oh, it just disappears. All right. Look at, I didn't realize I could change filters. Look at that. I didn't know YouTube had filters. It doesn't have my beautiful, it doesn't have my beautiful subtle filter from Instagram that I absolutely love. I absolutely love the subtle filter on Instagram. It just makes me look like I wear makeup and I don't. It just gives me a nice clean. So that's pretty much it. So I have a very close friend of the family. Their daddy just passed away yesterday. So this week I'm going to go color their hair today, and then so I'll go catch up on them and wish them my condolences and everything, and then I'm going to be probably going to a funeral, or at the very least a viewing, sometime this week. If the funeral's during the day, work day, I won't be able to, but the viewing I can attend. So we'll be doing that. And then my friend who I went to high school with, that's her grandfather. And then I stayed friends with her mom and her sister. And I go color their hair for them. And I've been doing it for like almost 20 years. Actually, 20 plus years. And so I'll probably make time to have dinner and spend time with her when she comes in, because she's in California. But yeah, so that's my week. How is your week going, guys? I hope that you like this video and this message. And if you have a chance to listen to Stillness is the Key, go listen to it. If you have a chance to pick up the book, go read it. It's a really good book. It just came out, I think it's September of last year, sometime late last year. And it's already like a New York Times bestseller, and rightfully so, because it's a good book for this day and age, because we are just so inundated with information, so inundated with all the things and the stuff, and so many responsibilities coming at us, like with the news, and you know, especially like a lot of my audience is like mamas, and you know, like you guys have your world to deal with, and then you have your kids' worlds to deal with, your family's worlds to deal with. That's a lot coming at you, you know. And for the stress and the noise that I hear, or that I cultivate around myself, I can only imagine what being a mother on top, you know, adds to it, you know. And just I encourage you to take some time, like I am, to sit in peace for a little bit, and just hear your own thoughts, and work through your thoughts. Work through that. I think that's why I like my drawing for a day challenge with me and my model that we've been doing, because when we take that time, we're just it's a time for me to like shut everything off and just focus on trying to improve a skill. And while I'm doing that, my mind is quieting, and I'm kind of shutting everything else down, and all I want to do is make the shapes look good, or you know, and focus on that. And I think I really love that exercise that we've been doing. And we're on day 63 is the next drawing that I'm doing today. So I'm like, we've been doing it steady for a while. And the key was, we've both been wanting to do this forever. The key was the fact that we are doing it with each other, like we're holding each other accountable. And I took my accountability on the next level than just sharing it with her, because we just share it with each other every day. I took my accountability to the next level, and I share it on my Instagram stories every day to show you what I'm drawing. You know what I mean? Because that just helps me like stay more accountable, because that I've learned a long time ago about myself, is that I'm not a great motivator for myself. Like I get motivated by an outside force. Like people motivate me, like others motivate me, you know. So when I want to do something, I like to do things with other people, because then that helps me with my accountability. If the project is just myself, it just stays myself. And then it's easy to give up on myself, which I'm trying really hard not to do. I'm trying very hard to change the script where to not give up on myself, and then not give up on others as number two, where it used to be don't give up on others and then give up on yourself. So now I'm trying to flip that and not give up on myself and then not give up on others, you know. So that's pretty much it. Y'all, since I can't see your comments, if you're saying anything, I'm so sorry. If you are commenting, since I can't do it, I'm just gonna pretty much end this. And I hope you guys have a blessed and wonderful week. And I hope I go back to my laptop next week so I could see this well. Hopefully, we'll find out with Monday morning motivation. If not, Sarah's gonna have to do something so that we can get on it. You know, I don't think it's gonna be a problem because it obviously came on. It just didn't come on fast enough for me. So then I set up the phone instead. Like my laptop's working now. I think it was the internet or something. Who knows? Who knows what the heck is going on? All right, all right, beautiful friends. Have a great, wonderful day. Oh, I don't know. The model just messaged me. No more Starbucks. I don't know what that means. We haven't done Starbucks in forever, but she obviously read something about them. And the boycotting days begin. So I don't know what that's about. I'll have to see. She just shared something with me. That just popped up on my phone. That's the downside of doing a live on the phone because my messages keep coming through, you know. So that's pretty much it. All right. All right, beautiful friends. Let me know what you're up to. Like, subscribe, give it a thumbs up on this video, and comment if you haven't. Let me know if you have any questions about that book or the other books that I've read, or what you're doing. Share with me what you're doing on how you're cultivating a little stillness inside of you, and a little peace time for you. All right, God bless. Bye bye.